Yo, what's up guys? I thought I would make a video me explaining a 10x DDD skip that I did earlier today. I think there's some really good value in me explaining this and maybe walking y'all through some points that in the DDD skip that is very important, or basically what I see when I am performing a DDD skip. So I got the footage of the 10x DDD skip right here, and we will look through all the footage, and I will try to point out anything interesting, and maybe I can point out some counts, some twitches, and I'll probably do that for the first couple, and then after the first couple I'll try to point out some more obscure things that happen in the later ones. So yeah, with that being said, let's just watch this video. So this is the first one, the first DDD skip in this 10x that I got. Let's just watch it. So with this being the first one is gonna be a little correct, but even with this, it's I can still explain everything that's happening. So first, I got the SBOJ, and Mario exited really quickly, right? So I know that he has pretty good speed. Most likely, I'm gonna skip the speed building stage at this point because he left really fast. Usually you'll have to have a couple left twitches if you don't leave that quick, if you have 100 speed maybe. But here I was confident I had at least 150 speed, which meant that I was going to skip a couple jumps, right? So I continue on. The first twitch we see is a right twitch, right? So it's just confirmed what I thought when I was exiting, that I was going to skip the speed building stage, right? You only see right twitches when you're exiting the speed building stage, right? So in this case, we see a right twitch. We know we're about to see the first count, right? So right now, I'm bracing myself. Either there's going to be another right twitch, or there's going to be a no twitch, which means it's a first count. If we see a no twitch, that's the first count. And then the second jump that we see is another right twitch. So this might be a little confusing because it looks like he's going to the left, but he eventually goes to the right. So a right twitch, so a little bit, what is defined is whenever Mario ever goes to the right? So that's a right twitch. So here, accompanied with the camera shake, we see that Mario doesn't really twitch in any direction. He, if we go frame by frame, we see him twitches to the left, but it's very small, very little. You don't really see it happening. So that's how we know it's the first count. We barely see him move. So right twitch, first count, right? So that's the first count. And now I need to see what's going to happen, right? So the second count is the really important one, right? So if we play this video, we see a pretty violent right twitch. We know this is violent because of just how far he goes. Like, that's pretty far, and he's there for a long while. You see, like, he kind of like oscillates back and forth to the right. So it's pretty violent, which means he has a lot of speed at this point, and I need to start reducing as soon as possible. And I reduce and I jump again, right? So at this point, this is the third count. So before, what we saw of the second count of the violent right twitch, that was the second count, right? So here's the second count, reduce my speed, right? Jump again. This is the third count. It doesn't really matter what happens at this point, because this jump, I will exit after this jump, right? There's almost no time to like, oh, maybe I won't. You're gonna exit after the third count. A fourth count doesn't exist. It's not really real. So here, I turn towards the door, right? So this turn wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. You see, Mario was on the ground for a while, and then he starts turning, right? So it's just, you want to hold neutral on the analog stick for a little while, and then hold left, right? And when you hold left, after you hold neutral for a while, it'll keep a lot of your speed for some reason. So, that's what you want. I arrive at the door, And from here, from this little peak I had, I could tell that Mario has pretty high speed. His shadow is overlapping the white section quite a bit, which means he has a pretty decent amount of speed. And because of this, I also used a relatively new setup, the Tom car setup in this situation, to deal with this. So the Tom car setup, what it is that you do 2 C lefts and then a C rights, all in Mario Cam C down, and then you just hold straight down. And if it's in the speed range of the Tom car, you'll get it. So that's basically like the first DDD skip, and it's gonna be a little complicated to explain since a lot of this stuff really comes down to feel and the very minuscule movement that Mario does matters a lot sometimes. So you saw in that how fast I recognized the shadow, a very small thing that's very important, or how much Mario twitched to one side on the second count was very important. Based on how violent it was, I knew how to adjust it. So stuff like that, very important to get used to and to do it a lot, so you build that intuition that you can do it over and over again. Okay, so now we're on to a second DDD skip. I'll explain this one a little bit faster so we can get through the rest, but the premise is going to be the same. There's going to be 2 right twitches, first, second, third count to the door, right? So that's basically what I would try to point out. Also, this time I won't really show the clip in full first. I'll just show me talking through it, just so this video is a little shorter. So starting with SBLJ, you can tell that I don't have enough speed, as much speed as last time, as how slow I actually arrived at the wall. So this is actually very interesting to see that in this situation, we'll actually see a couple left twitches. So here we jump. Because I don't really do late frame long jumps that much, it's a little harder to see a left, right, or a no twitch. But in this case, you can see a left twitch right there, right? So that's a left twitch, meaning I am building up speed right now, right? So I'm not ready to leave yet, or getting even close to the first count. So, you know, I'll just keep jumping and seeing what my twitch is at this point. So far, I know I have 1 left twitch, right? So I'll wait until the second one. And now I see another left twitch, which means I'm still building up speed, right? I didn't have that much speed arriving at the wall, and I kind of knew this while I was doing it. So I will continue jumping, and hopefully I'll start seeing some right twitches, which mean that I will start exiting the speed building stage. So here we see another left twitch, left, right. So at this point, we exited the speed building stage, right? So as soon as you see a right twitch, you're exiting, right? We see another right. So we see 2 right twitch. So we see 2 right twitches, which means that the jump right after is the first count, right? So this jump is the first count. First count, doesn't matter what happens on the first count. What matters is what happens on the second count. So now I'm really looking at what's going to happen with this second jump. And we see that nothing happens. So, like, it's crazy because almost nowhere does Mario move, right? He moves barely to the left, but we count that as a no twitch because he barely moved, right? So at this point, what I'm doing is, for me, what I like to do is just do a late frame long jump, and usually that gives me enough speed to get to the door. So you'll see that I'll try to long jump pretty late. So there. Right, so Mario's moving all over the place, but it doesn't matter how he moves because this is already past the second count. This is the third count, so you see that I'm on the ground for quite a while here. 1, 2, 3, 4 frames before 4 frames until I jump. The video is a little it's not synced. So I jump, which means that now I have enough speed to exit. So now I exit, and now I just have to be able to tell what my speed is. This is something that I've built up over time, and seeing how fast Mario arrived at the door, I could actually tell within what sort of speed range Mario is in, right? So if we watch this in full speed, we'll see when he exits. For me, it's pretty slow how he gets to the door, right? Probably for most of you, you don't really see the time difference, but for me, it is pretty slow, which means that I instantly go into Mario Cam C down, because I'm like, okay, this is pretty low speed. Most likely, I'll, do Mario Cam C down, and you see me go back into C up just to confirm what I was thinking, which, to see the shadow right here, it's basically aligned, right? So Mario's shadow is completely within the black tile on the floor, which means that this is pretty low speed. And if you see the chart, this is maybe 420, 425 speed, maybe 430, right? And all those speeds are encapsulated, or most of them are encapsulated by the C down, C right setup. And that's exactly what I do in this case. Yeah, I get this skip. So this is the fourth DDD skip, because I forgot to talk about something I really wanted to talk about in the other one, and that is the importance of late frame long jumps when you're starting off. And this first jump is a great example on why you want to do late frame long jumps when you want to see the twitches. I'll play this in normal speed, and I'll let you try to see what the twitch and what direction he's going. So, that was full speed. Even for me, it was hard to see which direction he was going. But if we slow this down, it is pretty clear, if we can see frames, that he's going to the left here, right? So he's going to the left, which means he's building up speed. The reason why, for me, I did a really quick long jump was because I knew that this was going to be a left twitch because of the speed that he had leaving the SBLJ. So I'm just trying to, speed up things more and try to get to the two right twitches as fast as possible. And we'll see that right here we see a right twitch, right? So this is a right twitch. And we'll see another right twitch. This one is particularly hard to see. Not gonna even lie, this is pretty hard to see. But this is a right twitch, and usually when you're exiting the speed building stage, it is two right twitches before the first count, right? So, I base off everything off that I will get two right twitches before the first count. And the jump right here, this is the first count. And now we care about what's on the second count. This one is a particularly special DDD skip because of what I do after this second count. I don't think it has a name, but I basically skip the third count, right? So I see that this second count was super violent, right? So Mario's camera, model, basically everything shook really hard, which means that he has an insane amount of speed, right? For the second count. And that speed I would guess to be somewhere around 450, right? Which means that either one of two things. Either we can try to reduce the speed, which at 450 speed, there's a really low chance that we'll actually be able to get below 350. Or I can just go straight to the door, right? And going straight to the door is the decision I made here because I'm not really confident in reducing speeds that high. And it's faster. So you see that I just go straight to the door, right? If you do this third count skip, let's say, you want a really good exit, because even though you have high speed, you're maybe not going to have enough speed to do any of the setups if you exit poorly. You can see this especially if on the third count you have like 470 speed or something high like that, and you exit poorly, and at the door you have like 430 speed. You lose a lot of speed if you exit poorly. And if you do a third count skip right here like this, you want a really good exit. And you see that I get a pretty good exit. It's not the worst, not the best, but it does the job of giving me enough speed to do a setup, right? So you'll see a couple frames left, and even though I had really high speed, you can see that at the door, I have relatively low speed, right? So I'm on the lower end of all the speed setups. By looking at this, you would think maybe C down, C right, straight down, lower 3 frame, because of Mario Shadow, right? So Mario Shadow is well within the box, right? So, you know, you might be tempted to think that, you know, oh, C down, C right. And I was too. But I remembered the way he exited, right? And this is something you gotta get the feel for. He exited faster than he would if he exited on a C down, C right, right? So I was a little confused here. What setup am I gonna use? It's a gamble, right? So either I will do C down, C right, or I will do straight down. But I know for sure that I won't do lower frame 3 frame or lower bound 3 frame because I'm not really confident with lower bound 3 frame. I'd rather do, you know, straight down at that point. So you see, I do C down, getting ready for a Mario Camp C down, C right, but then I realized what I just explained before, and I decided to go with straight down in this case after a lot of hesitation, because this is, you know, pretty hard speed to determine, and I get it. So I hope this video of me explaining it, explaining the counts, explaining the twitches, and some stuff here and there was helpful for you guys. A lot of this stuff really comes down to feel and practice and a lot of time. Just keep in mind, like, when I first learned this trick, it took me a month to even get remotely consistent at this. So, you know, I think that's a good time frame to, you know, get a little bit consistent, to understand the twitches, to understand the counts, to understand the speeds, to get a feel on how Mario moves at high speeds, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure, you know, do all the things that YouTubers ask you, like, subscribe, and, you know, maybe follow my Twitch channel at poke711_, and, you know, I will make more videos that are helpful like this in the future. So, you know, maybe the subscription doesn't sound that bad. Yeah, see you guys.